live up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders.
What up? What up? What up? And welcome on into Pregaming here at Sports Money. Breaking it all down, giving you guys the lines, the trends, the angles, the cash flow splits, anything you need to know to make informed betting decisions as we get to that first tip-off. In fact, it's NHL Frozen Frenzy today, so I'm excited to watch a full day of NHL hockey. In fact, I'm putting it on right now so I can be greatly distracted, and we have a ton of action to go over here tonight. The NFL's not in play, but it's still a sports equinox. We have 4 major sports in play. That includes college football. I know it's not the official sports equinox. That was a lot of fun yesterday, though, and I appreciate everybody that joined us for the live show. It was a late one. I kept saying we're going to try to set history. I believe it was 18 innings would have set history, and they went to 17. So we were live for it, and I paid the price for it today. So it was a morning comes fast when you go to sleep and the sun's up. That is for sure. But we got all kinds of things happening. I've already sent out to both Winnable and the Silver and Gold members the early NHL action, so we won't be covering too much of that here. I do have one play that I added to the card, and that's my way of saying thank you for supporting me here at Sports Money. We're not big business supported. We are viewer supported. So we count on you guys to show up, give us the views, throw the thumbs up out there, tell your friends. And if you can come off a couple of dollars after a big win to support the cause, we appreciate that. Helps us keep the lights on, helps us buy new programming. And let's see what happens from there. So we're going to go through the rundown here. Columbus and Buffalo, Tampa and Nashville, the Jets in Minnesota, Detroit and St. Louis, and New York Rangers and Vancouver are the rundown on the NHL side. In the NBA, I've got a King of the Court play. We cashed the last King of the Court play I gave out, so I'm going to give you another one. We're going to talk about the Hornets and Heat, the Knicks and Bucks, the Kings and OKC, and the Clippers and Golden State. Now, full disclosure, got a couple plays, a couple I sent out already, but I got some player props that I want to focus in and hammer on that angle. Got the World Series. We're going to talk about the Toronto Blue Jays and the LA Dodgers. How could I forget? We were watching it till 4:30 in the morning. And then I do have a college football game, 8 p.m. I realized I left it off the chart there, and, well, there just wasn't going to be enough room to get it on there anyhow. So you can see we got our hands full tonight. We got a lot to do. We don't have a ton of time to do it. And the first game pops off at 6:45. So let's give a quick recap about yesterday. It wasn't our finest day. We dropped about 3 units. Really stinks because some really good things that happened for us. And it wasn't that Washington Redskins game, that is for sure. Plus 11. They got roasted by 21 points. Let's see. Across the card, I lost the Bruin spot. I gave out on the winnable side of things and to the Silver and Gold members the over in that Penguins game. That was easy cash, but Boston got busted up. In fact, Boston went up 1-0. Then they got tied 1-1. And then that was 3-1 going into the third period, and they just got trounced. 7-2 was the final there. And Toronto lost. Toronto got blown out by the Spurs. We did cash the over in the Brooklyn Nets Houston Rockets game. Lots of over action in the NBA continues to reign supreme. The Dodgers minus 1.5. Was a loss. They lost that game 6-5. However, Vladdy Guerrero got walked, so we cashed a plus 125 that I gave out here. And Willie Smith, he got 1 hit, but he also got 1 walk, so he did not cash his over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I thought, especially for a game like that there would have been more action. We closed out with the Utah Jazz. That was a winner for us, but pesky little under. I know it stinks to lose it. I had the under 229 of that, 229.5 of that Denver, Minnesota game, and frankly, what are you going to do? 127, 114. Probably shouldn't be taking unders. That being said, I don't think I have an under in the NBA tonight. So we're learning. We're learning from our mistakes. But anyhow, it's going to be a fun show. Lots to go over with you guys. I'm trying to get this thing tuned in because 2 games started at 6 p.m. already. We're going to have hockey rolling through probably 3 a.m. tonight. Penguins and Flyers, first game. That's on ESPN. Also, they've got the Toronto and Calgary game going at 6 p.m. as well. So if we weren't so late last night, we might have had an opportunity tonight, but it's okay. I'm going to stick to the schedule, going to rest, regroup, recharge, and get ready to attack the Thursday night football stream. And a big week ahead. Lots to go on here. 4 p.m. is when the UFC starts on Saturday. They're back in Las Vegas for the Apex, the Baby Cage. And where are you, ESPN? There you are. There you are. Found you. Okay. And of course, it doesn't want to work. Of course, it doesn't want to work. Got this Flyers game on. Pretty pricey tag on the Flyers today, but a couple things to note about the NHL here. The rested teams do seem to prevail against these unrested squads, and the trends are showing it. The trends are ballooning with those facts and figures out there. Take a second to remind you guys, if you haven't done so already, do follow me on Twitter at PimSlapPOD. More importantly, follow the Sports Money account at Sports Money Wins. At Sports Money Wins is the spot that you can follow us over there. Going to start posting more content there. We are live on the gram, baby. Appreciate everybody that's watching us over on Instagram. Got some new followers, got some new subscribers, got some new requests to get involved with Instagram. So we said, okay, we'll get back to committing and putting some content over there. So more to come with that. We'll start posting videos over there, try to break up some of the breakdown clips and some of the look ahead spots that we talk about so that you guys can find that over there. You can find the Instagram channel at, I can't give it to you right now. Sports Money Network is simple. Everything Sports Money. Sports Money Wins. Sports Money Network at Sports Money Wins. You know the deal here. We're here to win that money with sports money. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. Time to hit the thumbs up if you haven't done so already. Do us a favor, smack that like button if you like the programming, you enjoy the content, you want more content. We need your help. We need your support. We need you guys to come in here and give that thumbs up button a click to let everyone know we're doing this thing. And that, in turn, helps you to promote the brand. So you can certainly be a champion here of sports money. I'd like to get to 100 likes. So if you're watching this video on replay, you'll see there's content throughout the entire evening of the sports slate. So it's never too late to tune in and maybe go back and say, what did he say about this trend again? But that being said, we can certainly use the support by way of the thumbs up button if you haven't done so. And if you're watching replay, your thumbs up still counts. So take a second and smack it if you haven't done so already. Okay. I'm ready to fire. We're going to start this thing off mighty early. Again, I've got a 6:45 spot for you guys, so I might as well get it right on the screen. And then we'll talk about the trends and angles that go along with it. But this will give you plenty of time to get it in. I am roasting the over in the Columbus and Buffalo game. I think there's a lot of goals that will be scored. I will kick this one off and give you guys this little spot right now. And then we'll kind of pivot over and talk about my favorite part of the show. And that is your guys' place. Getting into what you guys are involved with. Columbus, 12-0. They've got multiple days rest. They're not a dog over plus 140. And the team allows 3 or more goals that they're playing. That is the Buffalo Sabres. They're averaging 8.4 goals a clip in those games. And Buffalo's 9-0 to the over. If they're in a revenge spot, they're not a bigger favorite than a minus 135. Pretty straightforward. Revenge, not a huge favorite. In other words, it should be a competitive game. And that's typically how Columbus and Buffalo play each other. So it's an 8.4 average there as well. 2 little angles on this Columbus Blue Jackets Buffalo Sabres game that show us an average of 8.4 goals. So it's 6.5 for a reason. It's lofty. I get it. But man, this is a great night for the over in the Grand Salami as well. When you got all these, every team's in play. Shout out to Nutflush Allen. I asked so many questions. Hey, hopefully you took the Ottawa Senators team total over. Listen, Cash my premium play. I'll take the push, or I'll take the push on the day, I guess. It sucks to come in here and give you guys loser stuff. Shout out to Joe T. He agrees with me. He likes the Jackets and Sabres over 6.5. Nicholas Handy's in the house. Blake M's here. Peter Gracia. Sup, Mikey? Effing LA Dodgers. Yuck. Feel bad for Jays. Must win tonight. What a matchup they will have on deck tonight. Shane, Justin Bieber. And, of course, Ohtani. Big game Ohtani there yesterday. Crushing my Yamamoto opportunity. The best case scenario for me will be to see Ohtani get busted up, but not too early. And we'll show you why and how I'm going to attack that game. Shout out to Robert McCormick. Peter Grossi says, watch the whole game. Feels like I was out. Oh, yeah, dude. Like the old days. Me too. I woke up this morning. I was like, oh, dude. Oh, what happened? What happened last night? LALV says, cash my Dodgers same game parlay. Toucan says, go Jays. Money on Dodgers, though. LALV says, Dodgers back-to-back. Peter Gracia says, cashed Utah and with the over parlay. Thanks. Tarek B says, what's up, Big Mike? Great live betting night on the stream. Denver, the Dodgers, and Kelsey anytime touchdown plus 244. Del Fix says, your eyes are still glassy from last night. Pimp. Are they? Probably. LV says he's not getting busted up. Keep on dreaming. Yeah, I just said that's the best case scenario for me. I didn't say he's getting busted up. I just said that's the best case scenario for me with my Yamamoto future, LALV. I don't come in here the day after and talk about the plays I didn't give out on the show so that you can hear good job. I come in here and try to give you guys prognostication. I try to give you look-ahead spots. And those look-ahead spots are saying take Yamamoto at 35-1 to be the MVP of the World Series. And so the best case scenario for me is Ohtani gets busted up because 2 home runs yesterday does hurt the taint a little bit. Joe T loves the over. He's got a 7-0 trend to the over in the Blue Jackets game. And Nutflesh Allen says Texas State team total. There we go. The team total whisperer has chimed in. I think we might be in alignment to some degree on that game. I think we might be. I think we may be. All right. So I already talked to you guys about the C-Bus Buffalo game. That's going to pop off as I had mentioned. Over 6.5. I got a minus 110 in that game. Goaltender-wise, if you're new to the show here, we typically will look at the goaltender report for hockey. And that's about it. You know, we'll use some trends and angles to cap the way, but we don't pay too much attention to the cash flow. I do get a sharp respected betting report. It's early in the season, so they're still trying to accumulate data. And then when we switch to the other sports, we'll look at cash flow, line movement. You know, part of the reason is because even now, even to this day, hockey doesn't get a ton of love. It's a sharper respected sport. So it's kind of like the WNBA in that regard. You don't get a lot of commoners. You don't get a lot of public bettors on it. You get a lot of sharp money coming in there. And so because of that, we don't really have a public versus sharps traditional look and how the books are reacting to it, but tons of games on deck. Jack Greaves will be the guy for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Alex Leone for the Buffalo Sabres. And Greaves got a 2.78 goals against average, a 90.2% save percentage. Leone's got a 2.61 goals against average, a 92.2% save percentage. So yeah, you got 2 goalies coming into this thing that are probably playing better. You know, I talked about Greaves before. He had a great season last year, but he wasn't like the go-to guy, and he's certainly shown himself to be average this year. Thing is, Buffalo's coming into this thing on a tear. They are outscoring the team, competition 25-17. And that's how they got 4-1-1. I think in this game, though, for Buffalo, the challenge they have is they just had a nice little meaty back-to-back against a rival in the Toronto Maple Leafs. And it's a geographic rival, too. So not to say that Columbus isn't. Columbus has busted the Sabres up the last 5 times they've played. So 5-0 trend there for the Columbus Blue Jackets. But I like the over. Bad start to the season. Sabres have been firing, and they're firing because they got things back together from a roster perspective. And not to say that they're great. A lot of people expected them to make the playoffs, and they were disappointed with that 0-3 start. I, on the other hand, said that roster was a mess. They had 15 goalies, and none of them were NHL caliber. And now they've got Alex Leone, who's kind of had a early journeyman type of career to find a home in the Buffalo Sabres. So that's it. Take a shot with that one. Peter Grossi says, you know the fix for the hanger. Jump back in the saddle, kid. Vodka something. Vodka something. I do feel like my face is a little hungover face. A little puffy. Choti says Blue Jackets 7-0 after rest of 2 or more days and went over the total on the road. LALV says he likes Vegas plus 1.5 and the LA Kings money line parlay tonight. That's a nice way to get the juice down on the Harrison in goal for the Flyers is earning every second of it today. Jerry Davis is at Nutflush. Already bet Texas State team total. Thinking about JMU. Also, what say you? And Brian Palmer's in the house. What up, Brian? Palmer says Hurricanes money line, Blackhawks money line, Canucks money line, Sharks Kings over 5.5. Game number 2. Big slate today. So I'm going to try to keep a brisk pace as we get after it. But the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Nashville Predators, game number 2. And again, a game with some trends. Trends are our friends. Till they screw us. And then we're salty and angry. But that's not the case here. We're going to stay on this thing. We're going to get it rolling. I was just laughing because I was thinking about that 18-0 trend for Monday Night Football last night. And sadly, Kansas City was just free money, wasn't it? Everybody was saying they were free money. And I was sitting there going, there's no way they're going to be free money. But they were. Cost me a couple shillings for sure. All right, so from this Tampa Bay game, Tampa Bay perspective. Where is it? Andrew Vasilevsky, unconfirmed but likely starter. UC Saros, the likely starter for the Nashville Predators. Tampa comes in with Vasilevsky at 1-3-2 on the season. He's got to get better, right? He's got a 2.99 goals against average. I think this guy's getting a little old, to be honest with you. And probably a little bit of why you can only go deep in the playoffs so many times before, kind of the Golden State Warriors theory, right? Champion, finals. And then all of a sudden they're not even in the playoffs. UC Saros, on the other hand, 4-2-2, playing some decent puck. Predators, 4-2 start on their season. Interesting start for the Predators. I thought last year the Predators would be better than they were. Now Stamkos being in this game for the Predators. Little revenge opportunity potentially. Is he happy to be out of Tampa? I don't know. He went over to Nashville and he just didn't do anything. So interesting to see what happens out there. I think he's good for a point tonight. Why not? Put him on the goal sheet there. It's his team. It's his squad. And that being said, though, I look at these two goalies and first and foremost, you got a home dog. So they're not expecting Nashville to come out here and do anything. I shouldn't say not expect him to do anything, but and then Tampa on the other side of things, inconsistency in scoring. Back-to-back wins, but started off the season 1-4-2. So the question is, who do you attack? Looking at the price tag on this game, I mean, I think you could certainly make a case that, well, I'm not a big fuck around and find out spot. I'm not going to back Tampa Bay at a -175. That to me is just not sustainable long-term. But I'll tell you what I can look at. I kind of hinted to it with the inconsistency of scoring. I've got 2 unders on the card. In fairness, I've got 2 overs, and there's a lot of games. So there will be a couple unders somewhere around the stream. But look, Tampa Bay 7-0 to the under. Favorite roll, less than a -250 on a 2 or longer game winning streak. Not a huge favorite on a winning streak, averaging 4.2 goals a game. Tampa unders. Nashville intersecting zeros. 11-0 to the under. If they're playing a team that allows more than 25 saves and is on a 2 or more game winning streak coming in with rest. Perfect. We got the intersecting zeros. We'll take a shot for this game to stay lower scoring. This game could be 100-99. It could be a 2-1 final. It's just the way this cookie's going to crumble. So we'll see how it does actually play out and crumble. Hopefully we can keep this one under 6 for us. 7:45 start. It did start at 5.5. It did move to 6. I'm still okay if you can only get the 5.5, but if you can only get the 5.5, I would say again, get a new book. because there's a lot of books like DraftKings. DraftKings benchmarks you in 5.5, 6.5, one line, one goal increments. But FanDuel will let you move it. Caesars will let you move it. There's a lot of good books out there. BetMGM that have the whole numbers and not just the half lines on there. So, take it from 5.5 to 6.5 is a big price tag when you can move it to 6 for that minus 115. So just something to bear in mind. How much is the push potentially worth for you as you're betting on the games here? Jerry Davis says, I'm on the Sabres and Jackets to score first period. Nutflush says that, Jerry. I rarely bet both ever. I don't like favorite team total overs. If you want that play, I would add full game over. It's 18-1 now. Yes, Jerry. Yeah, I know. Yeah, the over's the better play. I don't see Texas State not getting the points. Let's go. Nutflush says, yo, at Jerry in these spots, I split bet. Nutflush says, at Mike also moved on. Locklear rushing over 32.5. There's Bo Jackson. George Springer's out tonight. Oh, no. Oh, no. I guess we won't see a Springer dinger. I wondered how that was going to play a part because they tore, 17 innings last night. Nasty Nate says, what up? Bo Jackson says, we'll see what happens, though. Let's go Blue Jays. And Nutflush says, Nasty Boston. Smash spot. Boston smash spot. Boston smashed me last night. Smashy. All right. Let's keep her ticking. Keep this train rolling down the tracks. Appreciate everybody joining us. Again, if you haven't done so already, smash the thumbs up button. And we'll keep growing. Keep this thing producing results for us here. Trying to bounce back after yesterday. Jets in Minnesota Wild. Hockey card, hockey slate. I mentioned this. I teased it. Favorites. Rest. Beating. Speaking of beating, did cash a couple plays that I gave out today. European basketball. Who knew I was a European basketball guy? Who knew? Also, cashed another tennis play. Men's tennis. I think I'm 5 in a row on men's tennis now. How about that? Some plus money spots out there. Today was plus 125. Anyhow, that was a notification coming through. Connor Hellebuck, the goaltender, first off the ice, most likely to be the guy that starts based on the way that hockey goes. Oh, the fucking Penguins. Penguins and Flyers, man. They always play the Flyers tough. They always do. And you got them at a minus 180. Again, I think it's the rest factor. But Jesus, 1-0 to start this thing. Come on, boys. You're better than that. Can't be dog shit all the time. Come on. Anyhow, one of the best goalies in the league started the season like shit. 5 goals on 32 shots. Has rebounded, has Connor Hellebuck, and that's why the team's finding a way. 2.16 goals against average in 7 games. And the Minnesota getting beat up. They're getting outscored. 39-28. Can't win games if you can't outscore your opponent. On the other side, you've got the Gustafsson situation, their go-to guy for the Minnesota Wild, with a 3.33 goals against average. And I mentioned the big problem. They can't score goals, or they're not scoring enough, ultimately. He's been strong, but he's just a man. And 3.34 goals against average. They're getting outshot. They're getting outscored. They're getting outplayed, this Minnesota Wild team is right now. So, for me, this one came down to a little trendage. Trends are our friends. And it comes down to that road favorites against tired teams. When you've got that rest advantage, you take the favorite. The fact that they're on the road as a favorite, switched through 0, it flip-flopped. Now, they're not a huge favorite. It's minus 110, so it's somewhat near a pick 'em. But this is one of them instances where you have to recognize that they opened up as a minus 105. So there was money coming in on these guys. And look, rested favorites, they're 9-1 in their last 10. 366 and 180 overall. That's a 2-1 advantage. Those are the spots that we want to try to attack. When we can find that 65% or so, we want to fire. We know over the long haul. Favorites on the road versus tired teams that qualified for the playoffs the previous years. Favorites on the road, tired. There's that tired component again. 37-9. They've won 15 straight times in this situation. That's the Winnipeg Jets. Now, there are no guarantees in these things, but looking at the teams, looking at the style of play, looking at the way that they've performed, just looking at the variables, and again, who's not scoring enough goals, I think the Jets game ends up being a lower scoring spot. I'm not going to really go wild and crazy by putting my neck on the guillotine with that one here, but this fucking Wild team, they lost to the San Jose Sharks. You just lost to the Sharks, brah. You're in the way, and the Jets are looking to make you pay. Now, commonality and opponent, the Wild did lose to the Mammoth, but everybody's been losing to the Mammoth. The Mammoth have won, 7 straight? I think that streak ends tonight. And the Jets just lost 3-2, but they did have a 3-game homestand, so they're coming in here. Ultimately, I think this is 4 games in 5 days at home. I think this is a good opportunity if they're coming in with that, meaning they're not playing in a back-to-back situation and they're taking to the road. I think they'll be ready to fire. And you got a lot of injuries across the board on this Minnesota Wild team. Foligno, Bogosian, Zuccarello, Sturm. I mean, these are some big names on that team. Onward. We got a double dipper. You guys are fired up in the chat today. I like to see that. Let's go. AOD's in the house. What up? Bo Jackson says Raptors are on the ban list. Yeah. They didn't perform last night, that's for sure. LALV says Springer got some karma from 2017. Cheater. There's a hater. Jerry Davis says, at Nutflush, I was only getting 38.5, considered playing it anyway. Jay Main says, I took Pittsburgh on the money line. Hurt me being a Philly guy, but minus 180. Yeah, right, with Erson. Erson's rested. Probably a good spot to take him now, although Pittsburgh's on a power play, so let's see how that evolves. Kripke says, at Bo Jackson. Yeah, what was that last night? Jerry Davis played Vegas money line at plus 130. It's moving in his favor. Nutflush says, that Jerry, it's a bit higher, but it's going to run. Jerry Davis says, I got the Jets minus 105. Pachico de Gallo. Mikey Abs seem like the play. I'll tell you what, Pachico de Gallo, I couldn't find an angle in that one. Both teams. I mean, the angle with the Avs at home, but the Avs have looked to put some stinkers up lately, so I ultimately stayed off. That's a game I stayed off of. I have no action in that game. I didn't even touch it in some parlays. The long parlays is the size of your arm. Yeah, I do those. I have fun, especially when you have a 15-game NHL slate or 16-game NHL slate, whatever the number happens to be. The Red Wings and the St. Louis Blues are the next game on the deck, and I got a double dipper. Double dipper, the old chili dipper. Not together, separate plays. I am not of the surprised list with the way that the Detroit Red Wings are playing. I talked about it. Last year, expectations, great goalie scoring opportunities, no results. That's like the Utah Mammoth are still the Arizona Coyotes. At some point, the 7-8 game win streak that they're rolling through, all that stuff's going to, because they're just not deep. But the Red Wings were, and they're going to go Johnny Gibson. They got Jordan Bennington on the other side of things. Both starting goaltenders. Gibson allowed 4 goals in 24 minutes of his last start. Needless to say, that was against the St. Louis Blues, and he certainly did not come in fired up. He then came out there and stood on his head. They ended up winning that game 6-4. So recent performance, tons of goals. Gibson does have a 3.45 goals against average. And I like this Red Wings team. Blues have surprised me a little bit. They stink on the defensive side. Outscored 19-11. 3 straight regulation losses. Is Binnington the guy? He allowed 5 goals on 27 shots to the Red Wings. So both these guys are in rematch situations here. And potentially looking to go out there and fire. I just don't believe it. I think you kind of are. We already saw this. We see goals in this game. People are already saying the Flyers game's over. Just started, dude. This is the way the Flyers play. This is the way they play. All right, listen. Favorites and fatigue spots. Favorites and fatigue matchups, 14-3. Have won 11 straight. That'd be the St. Louis Blues, the favorite. Again, they're trying to play tricks with us here. They want you to bet Detroit. They're making them a smaller price play. But I think, again, recency bias, maybe, recent performances. I'm going to go back and say, no, give me Detroit over 6. I think that's a good number. That's a good price to take. I also think the St. Louis Blues come out here and best these boys. Zigzag theory. Now, you could argue the zigzag theory means it should go the other way. This line opened at 6.5, and it's been dropping. So There are some 5.5s at a big price tag out there, minus 140s if you're looking to take the over on the 5.5. There's also some 6.5s out there at minus 135 if you're looking to take the under. So somewhere parked in between there, 6 feels fair. Night that I expect there to be a lot of action in the NHL. And if you only wanted to play one spot, then I guess, yeah, I would say probably take the Blues and parlay it with the over 5.5. But I like this. I thought this was one of those, again, recency bias. These two teams just played. We saw a ton of goals. We saw the Red Wings win. Now they're in the Blues, and I think the Blues can go out there and exact some revenge. So I do like the revenge spot for St. Louis. What do you guys have to say here? Jay Main's in the house. SGA over 9.5 assists, 9 straight on back-to-back. Bam, under 31.5 points and rebounds. Looking kind of wants to pull the trigger, but nervous. Nutflesh says if you like the Leafs, you can get them right now at plus 155 on BTTS, and Leafs win. That's a good way to play it. That's a fine way to get after it. What's the score? What is this? Oh, 1-0. Going to test the live betting theory here tonight. We're going to put that in play and see how that works. Did not win last night, so it's now 2-1. Still up like 12.5 units though. So not to cry, not to cry over the spilt milk, so to speak. Flea Mathis says we almost made history last night. Almost. I know, dude. I know. And I paid the price today for it. Literally. Paid the price. Kelly V's in the house. Toronto to Ferris going for goal number 500. Joe Madden info, huh? And Jerry Davis says King Sharks first period. 1.5 power play goals plus 145. Good power play scoring and mediocre killing. That's some creative ways to play it, boys and girls. Yeah, not flesh. That's 50% of the bet. Yeah, that's why I like it. I think that's a great way to play it. Toronto to win the game and both teams to score. So, yeah, I mean, they can't win if they don't score. So, essentially, you're saying Toronto wins the game, and you're getting that plus 155. I didn't look to see. Let's see. So distracting when there's games on. Makes it fun, but it's like a live betting show. Yeah, because I can get the Leafs at minus 110 right now. So if you can catch that plus 155, that's a great number. And a big trend for the Leafs in this spot. 2 Canadian teams battling head-to-head always makes me a little wary. Kelly V says Dallas, 3 scorers out. Washington an under 6 parlay. No interns for me, Smoke and Mirrors. No interns for me. I wish I could have somebody do the production. It's a lot of work. Rangers and Canucks. Rangers stink at home. They're good on the road. Canucks just had an emotional battle. We cashed on them. They played the Edmonton Oilers. Recall. Big game. Edmonton came back. That game went to overtime, if you'll recall. They are just 2-2 at home, so it doesn't really seem like they have much of an edge. And they've been getting whooped up prior to that Oilers game. So you used a lot of emotional and physical attributes for the Oilers, and you got the win, 4-3. Now you let down. You shit the bed because you were stuffing them until that third period. Prior to that, they lost 4-3. They lost 2-1 at the Predators. They lost 5-1 at Penguins. So are they on the uptick? I don't know. I don't care. I'll pull down your underwear. You guys know that was coming. Come on. But I'm going to look at the under in this spot because I think we do have an edge here if there was an edge. I do like that Winnipeg or Washington spot, KB. Logan Thompson, Jake Ottinger. I do think there's these teams have. I said Dallas has been scoring, though, so that does make me a little concerned on that side of things. Not touching or messing with the Senators and Blackhawks. That game should go under, probably goes over. Probably see Connor Bedard be mediocre again, which is amazing. Macklin over there for the Sharks, putting on points. Not Bedard. Bedard was supposed to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. Disappointing. Anyhow, Jonathan Quick, Thatcher Demko. Remember Jonathan Quick? LA Kinger, plenty of experience against the Vancouver Canucks. Goaltenders have been playing well, and Quick's got a 2.03 goals against average. They're just not scoring. Tends to be the problem. You can't win if you can't outscore your opponent. And so they got the road favorite position against the Canucks. And the Canucks will have Thatcher Demko in goal with a 2.35 goals against average, a 92.2% save percentage on top of it. Lots to look at here. I like sides. I do. I like a lot of sides tonight in the NHL, and I try not to go overly total heavy. I do think we had a couple good looking spots out there, but I'm comfortable with an under in this game here. The Rangers are averaging 2.2 goals a game. That's horrible. You don't just want to look at it and be like, well, they're not scoring it. Yeah, they're not scoring. Their goaltenders are playing decent, and I think that the Rangers' edge happens to be, one, they're not at home. Two, they've got experience with their goaltender. You want to pay $1.20 for the Rangers? No. I'll take a plus 105 and just hope that both these teams continue their scoring droughts. Jerry Davis likes the Rangers in the under. 6.5 too, huh? Yeah. That's a tough one, man. I mean, Keeper Sherwood is the guy that goes out there and produces tonight. Write his name down. If there's going to be a guy that wins for Vancouver, it's Keeper Sherwood. 6 goals and a power play goal. Firing. These teams just don't shoot the puck enough either. This is one of those games where you take like the goalie saves in the same game parlay, right? Because if you get to the third leg, you typically get a boost in some way, shape, or form. So you take a game, maybe you take the side or the total, and then you add the player to it, and the player's the goaltender. You like the team to win, you take the goaltender saves over. And then you're looking at it going, Jesus, this thing wasn't even close. How'd they end up with 16 shots when the total was 24.5? Brian Palmer says the Rangers are ass. They can't score, and Demko's going to slam the door. Can't score, and Demko's going to slam the door. Speaking of scoring, Flyers. Let's get fired up. Fired up. Both teams to score in the first period. BTTS. I used to think that stood for beat the shit. Not anymore. Now I've become wiser. All right. Let's rip through the NBA. Let's put a bow on the show and get everybody up out of here. I told you before, heavy NHL card. Don't spend a lot of time looking at the cash flow splits. The NBA, the Major League Baseball, they're all a little bit different from me. College football, sure. Sixers and Wizards. It's a big number. Big number. I think the Wizards probably end up winning that game outright. Wrong team favored. See, like a lot of times when I'm looking at I said this last night. Did I think that the Washington Commanders would win the game? No. And I guess I probably shouldn't have been on them for that reason. But with a Wizards position at +5, I think they could come out there and win the game. The Hornets and the Heat, I think the same thing with the Hornets and the Heat. So I'm comfortable taking the Hornets in this spot here. 54% of the bets, but 50% of the cash have come in on the Hornets. And there's head fakery going on all over the book. Now, the problem is there's a lot of injuries for the Hornets, but not some of their key guys. So you see a total of 238.5. 239s, 240s. There's even a 241 out there. They don't know what to do with this game. And again, splits for the NBA, everything's going to show the over. However, in this game, 77% of the bets and 74% of the cash are on the over. Here's the thing I wonder. These teams are averaging when they play head-to-head like 219, 220. I think in the last 10 times they played, I believe that's the average, 220. Why is this total sitting at 238.5? Where are those points going to come from? That's the first thing I was kind of questioning as I was looking at this game. Now, they got a positive point differential. They're 2-1. This is a battle for the Southeast Division lead. They're both 2-1 coming into this game. So there's a lot on the line, surprisingly. And I think the reason that they're expecting scoring is because of those point differentials. So the Hornets have a point differential of 13.7, meaning they're outscoring their opponents by almost 14 points. And the Heat have a differential of +12. So something to be said for that. Ultimately, I like the Ball, Sexton, and Bridges accompaniment. I think when we're looking at a 6 with some numbers in our favor, wrong team favored? No. I think it's fair to say that the Heat come out there and they should win, but it's a one basket type of game. And in a one basket type of game, anything can happen. I will take the Hornets. I will take them to go out there and take first place in the Southeast Division to start this thing off here. Himmy? Is Himmy him? I don't know. It's a lot to ask for one guy. Norman Powell, Tyler Hero, and those are a couple of names that the Heat will be dealing with out. Norman Powell's the big one with the groin injury tonight. And yeah, the other side of things, Grant Williams, Josh Green, Brandon Miller. Both these teams are beat up. I just think it's too many points to take here. And would it surprise me that the Hornets come out there and win this game outright? It would not. Nice. Not flush says by the time the bet went through, posted a 170. Jerry Davis played the Caps first period 3-way. Hornets plus 10 and over 230. Nutflesh gave out the Hornets team total over this morning with Pete. Pistol Pete. Hope he's doing well. Jay Main says Miami number 1 in pace. Charlotte number 5 in pace. That's why they're scoring. That's why they had the scoring differential too, right? DJ Hardy says, haven't the Hornets hit the over every game? I think almost every team's hit the over on almost every game. Okay. Knicks and Bucks. Bucks happen to be one of the best teams in the East. Handing everybody their lunch right now. 61% of the bets, 63% of the cash are on the Bucks. And the lines moved a point against them. In other words, they're making it more attractive to bet the Milwaukee Bucks. 232.5 dropped 4 full points on the total. And you have 93% of the bets and 93% of the cash on the over. So you got a lot of money coming in on the over. It's dropped 2 scores. Question mark. And the big question mark for this game is Karl Anthony Towns. I don't see him on the current list. Mitchell Robertson and Miles McBride. Okay. McBride's got personal issues, not any kind of lagging injuries. On the other side, though, Cole Anthony and Kyle Kuzma. Anthony's questionable. Kuzma's doubtful. Told you guys, I'm not going to take sides necessarily in all these games. I got a couple sides I gave out there on winnable and things like that. Some of the, would I spell that wrong? Yeah, I'm a stickler. But I like the over 49.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And hint, hint, wink, wink. King of the court, Giannis. Fun game to play. I made, what was it, $36 the other night in bonus bets? I mean, it's free money. You know, you take that $36, you put a couple player props together. By the way, we cashed our player prop parlay last night. I told you guys at the end of the show, I was going to put together an NBA player prop parlay. It cashed. It was a plus 466, I think. Not bad. 5-1, almost. 3 legs. That's what you use your king of the court money for. That's what I use mine for. Fun money. Fun money. But anyhow, with the Giannis side of things here, dude's a beast, and he's in beast mode, and he's changed positions, and he's got a new coach, and he's got all kinds of things moving in the right direction for him right now. First and foremost, would it be surprising for the guy to be the MVP of the season again? Probably not. I guess it just depends on what the Bucks end up doing. But look, point forward, likes it, likes the positional realignment, and he's showing it. 48 rebounds in 3 games. It's beastly numbers. 14 or more in every game this season. It's crazy. Averaging 10 rebounds a game on his career. The Bucks allow 7 more rebounds a game than the Knicks. A lot of shots that are being missed. And then from a king of the court perspective, look, he's got to go big. He's got to lead the league in the night. And points, rebounds, assists combined for this guy. Ladder. He's got 55 or more points, rebounds, and assists in every single game this season. And he's at home. And he's got rest. And because the Knicks are live in this game, he's going to be playing 4 quarters. He ain't sitting out the third quarter. So I'm going to use my king of the court for this guy tonight. And I'm going to take his ladder up to that 55. Might even go a little bit higher. Let's see what we can do from a ladder perspective. Carolina's up 1-0 over Vegas. See that? See that? You heard? Let's see. Player combos. Points, rebounds, and assists. 50 plus is now minus 125. Look at that. Minus 105 an hour and a half ago. 50 plus minus 125. So it's getting some steam. 51 plus minus 108. 55 plus 163. That's a good little number. He's averaging 59 on the season. So if you look at 60 plus, it's plus 321. Fuck. What if he goes off in the fourth quarter? 65 plus is plus 680. We'll see what he does tonight, but I like him. I'm going to take him as my king of the court. I got his over 49.5 points, rebounds, and assist combo. Probably points is fine. You know, points have been, I don't know. I like the combos more this year than not. Like I took that down last night for Jokic there in 25 plus, where his number was 27.5, and he got 20. I think he got 26. Just glad I took it down. Onward, upward. Mitch Borber in the house. What up, Mike? I hit the king of the end zone with nice, dude. Won $226 in bonus bets. Nice, dude. Got Brunson for king of the court tonight. Thought about Giannis, but it seems like Brunson always outplays him. That's fair. I was just thinking because I think the Knicks win this game. He's playing in the fourth quarter. J Man says Cat is playing. I like Cat's points then. I think we see points. But again, this total's come down 4. Palmer says it's early, but Hurricanes getting some revenge tonight. Brian Palmer says, I'm tailing that Giannis king of the court. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go onward here. We got a couple more games to get to. We got 2 more NBA spots, Major League Baseball World Series spot, and the college football game that you guys are talking about. Was the wrong team favorite? I don't suspect. I think this is too many points in this Kings game. Let me put it that way. Where is it here? Open at 11.5. It's coming down. So the public agrees. 64% of the bets are on the Thunder. Or I shouldn't say the public agrees. The books agree. 64% of the bets, 58% of the cash. OKC Thunder. Problem is when you're the champ, everyone's going to run at you. They all bring their best. And dogs early in the season, 260 and 190. 8-2 in their last 10. There are some dogs that are barking with these points out there. First 10 games, underdogs of spreads 4 or more find themselves 167 and 102. Some short notes there. Look, you're going to give me this many points. Underdogs against undefeated, tired opponents. There's the key piece that we're looking for. 9-2 to kick this season off. 11 game sample size. Small sample. Beefy opportunity when it comes down to it here. So I'm just going to take the points with this one. Do I think they win outright? No. Normally when I want to get involved, sure. But will the Thunder win by 10? They didn't against Dallas. They did against Atlanta, I guess. They did against Indy. It's also their first game back after a 3-game roadie. Toughest place to play that 4th game is the first game back home after being on the road for that extended tour of duty. Granted, OKC and Dallas, not the biggest road trip in the world, but, Indy, Atlanta, they had a tough battle against Houston. Remember, double overtimes. Teams are fighting these guys, and they're showing some vulnerability when it comes to leakage of points late in the game. So take some Kings plus 9.5. We'll see if that one gets there. Jerry Davis got the Kings plus 11. Yeah, this is a late number. Would have rather had the 11.5. Certainly would have rather had the 11.5. What the hell am I talking about? Okay, last game for you guys. They want this one. Golden State wants this one. They've been getting thumped by these fucking LA Clippers. And we got an opportunity. Player prop. 17 threes in the 3 games he played against the Clippers last year. 17 of them. Average more than 5.5 a game. He had 4 last night. 6 and 7 the 2 games before that. And who's going to block him? This was plus money earlier today. It's catching some steam. Also, yeah, he only had 4, but he only played like 25 minutes. So plus 2, 2.5's even out there. 60% of the bets, 59% of the cash are on the Warriors. Wrong team's favorite. Not big favorite. I'll be damned if I'm going to take the Clippers in the short spread like this. I think they're trying to trick you into getting this spot out there, because when you look at it and you look at the teams and who they just busted up Memphis, the Golden State Warriors did last night. But because they busted them up, fourth quarter, they were rotating guys in and out like it was a fucking YMCA youth camp. And the Clippers just took down the Portland Trailblazers as well as the Phoenix Suns. So they're on back-to-back wins, but they did take that loss to Utah. Now, we caught a win with Utah, so it can't be hating on them. But I like Curry. I'll take Curry to go out there and fire. I'll take Curry to do Curry-type shit. And look, Clippers are without Bradley Beal, Jordan Miller. Bradley Beal's a key cog in the wheel. Keep an eye on that injury report. That was as of Sunday's report, so we'll see. We'll see how that trickles down. All right. Kelly V says, you said season just started. It's different for the NBA. Them boys are soft. Them boys are Charmin soft. Nutflesh says, I will share this little nugget that I gave out to Jimmy, and it's 4-0. When Luka or LBJ are out, you can catch Austin Reeves points assist between 28.5 and 31.5. It's an auto bet. Huh. Dale Vick says Clippers should get used to not having Beal. He's a bum. Yeah, they were already talking load management in the NBA after the second game of the season. Couldn't believe it. It's like, you just started playing. What are you doing? It's a bad product, man. It really is. And it's cheating. It's crazy. Anyhow, that'll conclude our NBA portion. I've got a college football play for you guys here. I'm taking the points with Texas State. It's a bad team, and there's a lot of bad games. But look, early primetime games, short rest periods, big deal. And a home team like Texas State, James Madison lost its quarterback to Colorado last year. So, semi-rebuild, If you're James Madison, you're probably constantly churning and burning. You're trying to develop and retain is what you're doing if you're James Madison after moving into the FBS. But problem is you got some exposure off of a good season last year, and some of them players left. Now, 63% of the bets and 74% of the cash are on Texas State. It's come down from 8.5 to 7.5 and 7s that are out there. Totals dropped 5 points. 60.5 down to 55.5. 82% of the bets, 63% of the cash are on the over. Come down 5 points. Worth noting. Bad teams. Both sides. I didn't have a graphic. I left this one off, so I apologize for that. Competitive games, though, for Texas State. Don't roll them over. They lost to Arkansas State. Now, these are all bad teams. I get it. Let me preface it, right? 31-30 they lose. They lose 48-41 to Troy. They lose 40-37 to Marshall. That was at Marshall. And they were favorites in all three of those spots. So they're putting up points, and now they're getting a sit. They were favorites in those spots, blowing it. So we're buying low on a Texas State team. James Madison, what are you going to say? They're still beating teams. Georgia Southern, Georgia State, Louisiana, Old Dominion. I mean, it hurts me to talk about these teams because they're just so fucking bad. They thumped Old Dominion 63-27. They should have. Texas State, home dogs, rebounding against road favorites, 38-48. And you're probably sitting there going, well, what kind of trend is that? That's a money line trend. 38-48. You're catching them at over $2 favorite or $2 dogs. Sunbelt primetime unders 73-33. Something to consider in this game. Is it lower scoring? Even though now, if they can put up points, it's lower scoring, and they weren't covering as a favorite, but now they're getting a 7.5. Yeah, I'll sprinkle the money line a little bit on these guys. James Madison 6-1. I see it. I got 2 eyeballs. I do like that Texas State team total over 23.5. Nutflesh says Texas State has big play power. Agreed. Loves the bet. David, under in this game. See, I was thinking that too with those primetime unders. And that's where, to Nutflush's point about not wanting to take the team total over on a favorite. I agree with that. I think that's a really, really sharp way to look at it there and play the full game over, not the team total over. We talked about that the other day. People were trying to move away from the team. I forgot what game it was. We took the game over, and everyone else was taking the favorites team total over, and they fell short by 1 point. Was it 1.5 points? I can't remember who it was. Kripke says, I'd be all over Texas State if they didn't have the redshirt freshman quarterback. It's an ugly game. Got to pick a side. I'll take over a touchdown. I like the hook. We got 2 games tomorrow that'll be ugly as well. Jacksonville State, Middle Tennessee, Florida International. Let's see if they can get me yet again. 100% early money coming in on Missouri State, by the way. Something to note. Keep an eye on that line. It's come down 3 points from the original opener. And then the last game I got for you guys is the World Series. Shit. Bear with me 1 second, please. Shit. Shoot. All right, listen. I'll move quick. Take the first 5 under. I want to see Toronto win. I see what's going on out there. I don't like that Springer's not in the equation. I see Ohtani. I see Bieber. It should be a battle. Ohtani's been shoving. Bieber was doing all right out there. Ohtani, 10 strikeouts, 6 shutout innings. I don't like his strikeout prop, though, because we do see plate discipline from this Toronto team. On the other side of things, I like Bieber. But if he gets busted up early, do you leave him in to figure it out? So his outs were 14.5. It moved to 15.5. Is he going to pitch into the 6th inning? I don't know. If that's the case and everything's kind of looking like that, after a late night game, how much pop do those bats have? I'll take a lower start to this game. I'll take the under 4.5. Quick turnaround, sitting key players, aces on the bump, rested Shane Bieber. As long as he goes out there and hangs on, and again, 5 innings maybe. Do I want to take the over in the strike? No, I don't want any pitchers outs and strikeouts in this game at this point. And maybe they'll cash, but not for me. That's going to be the way we put the bow on the show. You guys, appreciate you checking us out here tonight. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done so already. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the show. We'll be back tomorrow. Check us out here at Pregaming Sports Money Network, 6 p.m. Eastern. Of course, we'll start the day with my guy, Ramon Scott. You'll see the morning steam, get the first look of the action in Las Vegas, what happened overnight, where the lines are moving, what you need to know about key personnel and trends. And then I'll follow it up at 6 p.m. to give you guys my card, my best bets here, my looks to try to beat the books. Have a great night, everybody. And I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. Same time, same place.